All right. As far as the injuries go, really, Chris Lamons is the only one. He hurt his left ankle. So, and he's a tough kid, man. He did it on the opening kickoff. He'll work his way back through that. The fans were incredible tonight. Today, I mean, I got here relatively early in the morning, and that line was already starting for 12 hours in advance. And they're an amazing bunch, and we appreciate every bit of that. Listen, defense again had a nice game here. I mean, it was beautiful to watch, and the pressure we put on Teddy, and then the way we were able to sustain against the run game. And they're obviously a good football team. Vic Fangio is a heck of a football coach. Offensively, we did some good things, and then we had probably too many drops and penalties in there. And listen, that's my responsibility. I'll tell you, I'll get that straightened out. The turnovers from the defensive side, we ended up with 9 points off of that, and so it was good to see Dan. Dan a few weeks ago, I was sitting in here, and everybody wanted him gone, and this is what's so great about this game. I mean, all of a sudden, he's back and performing. His last 2 games have been beautiful things to watch there. Bucker sets a record for the most 50-yard field goals, and my hat goes off to him. I got to work with him on the extra points, but the 50-yard field goals, he's up spot on. So we take care of that as we go here. But all in all, tough to win in this league, and to have that opportunity against a good football team, we feel good about ourselves for a minute here, and it's until we get ourselves ready for the Raiders come Tuesday. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
Offense looked like it kind of struggled coming in on 16 points. What that your next 2 ball games are going to be against division foes? How important is it to make sure that you write the football?
Yeah, so we righted it to win the game, so that was important. But we need to take care of some of these little things that are happening here that are killing drives. And again, my responsibility to make sure that happens, and we'll do that.
It looked like in the first half, it was maybe a little unorthodox for a lot of fans to look and see you guys not really having to go for it with the minutes still, a couple of timeouts. Can you take us through that process?
Yeah, so listen, we had an opportunity to put them up by 2 scores, put us up by 2 scores, and I thought that was important. Yeah. Is that the one I presume you're talking about when we kicked the field goal?
No, at the end of the first half when you had a minute 9 to go and 2 timeouts. And ran.
Oh, yeah. I just that was a decision on my part, so I felt that was the right thing to do.
Coach Melvin, it looks like you made a couple of adjustments on defense. Melvin will start tonight. How much is he going to be a factor as a starter going forward?
Yeah, so we look at him as if he's a starter, but we rotate all those guys. So it was good to get him in there and get him some extended snaps, and he played his tail off. So he did a nice job. I thought that whole front did a nice job.
Maybe the decision percent. There were times where the uprights moved the men. Just how big of a factor was that just in the game in general?
Yeah, they were moving and they had confetti or whatever it was hanging from them. I mean, it was kind of crazy, but off of the net there. So, but I didn't. That part I didn't. It moved the right way on the one, so I was good with that. And Bucker's, he's got a strong leg. So, I mean, we trust him from those different depths. The wind was blowing in that direction. So we were good to go with the longer one there. Go ahead. Finish up.
Well, I was just going to ask you, too, about the drops. I know you say you got to take care of it. It's like every week, right?
Yeah.
Lots of it said it's a lack of focus.
Yeah, it's I don't think that's it, but I would tell you on the other hand, we got to look at all the way into the tuck. So we got to make sure we do that. So and take care of those. Tip balls become important problems, and drops become a problem. So and we'll keep working on it until we get it right. So if I'm saying it every week, we're gonna keep working on it.
And he used the term it was beautiful to watch about the defense, and this is the
been kind of percolating for a while, but you have a different level of faith in the defense now, and going back before, but how do you account for the really stark improvement?
Yeah, I think health is one thing. I think our front's playing well. It's a nice addition that Brett Veach had with Melvin Ingram, and the guys are, they're taking a lot of pride in what they're doing there, and they're healthy. So, knock on wood, it stays that way. But they sure are playing hard.
And before out in time, Pringles got some more snaps tonight. He has 2 drops, but they're basically good play on special teams. What did you see there? What does it say about their?
Yeah. So he had a drop, and then he had a catch, and then he had a drop, right? So, and then he came back and made one of the bigger plays in the game, and that's he's a consistent player. You're gonna have days like that when things don't go absolutely right, and but you got to keep pushing through, and that's what he did. He's the epitome of that. He's going to work his tail off, and I mean, you guys know him. So, but he's going to work his tail off till he gets it right, and he's not going to give up on himself.
And what is it like for you as a coach? You know, players struggled in the past like they have, but you see the reaction that his teammates have. He has perhaps his biggest play of the season.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love the enthusiasm the guys have and the love they have for one another. That's important with a team. So.
You referenced the fact that people here asked you about Swanson and position one with Dawn.
Don't throw it back at me, Sam.
Well,
I was just making a statement.
My question though is, what I guess is it just the history of the plays he's made for you in the past that you guys wanted to stick with a player like that?
Yeah, well, he's a good player, and so he has a role on that defense, and everything's not going to go perfect. We understand that. As long as you can still run the same way, and somewhere age gets you, but if you can run the same way and you're seeing things right, then you kind of push through those things. It's why Pat came back to Pringle, and so there's a certain trust that you build up with a player, knowing his knowledge and toughness and skill level.
Maybe a similar question about Sorensen. What told you that he was going to, kept him around, that he was going to make some plays?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's wired that way, and that's why the guys all went crazy for him. So they know what he went through. So you just knew he'd power through it, and you always hope that they come out on the other end, and so we trusted that.
When you say he's wired, what do you mean? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, sure. Guys can hang their head. If things aren't going right, especially if it's as big as that was, becoming. So, and he didn't do that. He trusted himself. He trusted the coaches. He trusted the scheme and the guys around him. And that's not always the case. We have a good locker room here, and that when we talk about that during training camp, or they start going through these ups and downs during the season, you need that. You cherish the guys that give others support. So.
The last
Coach, you mentioned drop killers. Tyreek, another ball went through his hands. ED was talking to him on the sideline. From what I saw, what was your message to Tyreek?
Yeah, just let's go ahead and look it right into our hands and squeeze, and we go with it. The ball, those balls are coming out of traffic, and you have a strong arm quarterback. So you got to really make sure that you see it all the way into the tuck and into the hands and right into the tuck there. So.
Kind of a follow-up to that. When you're dealing with players of their caliber, like a Hill and a Kelsey, who knows, potentially Hall of Famer, that type of thing. How do you weigh, like, okay, I know that these guys are going to figure this out, or maybe we have to have a conversation.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been doing it a long time, I guess, but I mean, I can normally tell if with these guys. Now, those guys I have a lot of time with, so they're not trying to drop the ball, but they also need to be reminded at times. So just as confident as you are in your hands, you got to still do the fundamental things. And so I try to remind them and keep as cool a head on myself as I can when I'm doing it. I'm here to be a teacher, and so I try to teach and go about it that way.
Andy, I know you talked about
needing to work on things week in and week out. But you won 5 in a row. What are some things that you've liked over this stretch here?
Yeah, I've loved the attitude. I've loved the defense. Our defense has, I think, stepped up and really played well. So good, solid football. They're attacking. It's a great tempo setter for everybody. The offense has been doing enough to grab a couple points and have some nice drives with room to improve. We all have room to improve. So, and then special teams is also up their game. So they're doing well, and I appreciate it. But most of all, the attitude. I watch these guys come out to practice, and they're 100 miles an hour. You don't have to say anything to them. They know what's at stake, and they approach it that way. But yet they enjoy being around each other.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I know you guys had 5 in a row. Would you say the adversity is maybe what gave you guys this success?
I mean, you probably could say that. I think anytime you have shortcomings or you go through adversity, you kind of tune out what's going on outside of you and just start to believe, in your teammates and your coaches a little bit more. Maybe you could credit that to that, but we're just trying to play our best ball, knowing that, we're in December, and this one it really counts.
Why do you think over the past 5 years of success, would you attribute to the fact that the defense is healthy, you got quarterback, the addition of Ingram, who's Chris Jones, where do you see the success?
I mean, listen, you could probably say all that. I think at the end of the day, mostly it's just been a commitment to each other, just believing in each other, not letting outside noise, kind of dictate the way we feel, dictate the way we approach this thing. So yeah, I'll just probably say it's just been a total team effort just to stay committed, to each other.
Is this what you saw, the defense being healthy, what we could have seen, I guess, start the season with the defense would have been as healthy as it is now? Is this what you all expected in the season?
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, I think everybody in our locker room would really have probably wanted to start the season much better. It didn't go that way. But we can't necessarily worry about that. It's all about moving forward. And then, like I said, staying committed to team.
Aaron, what was it like for Dan Storms earlier this season?
Well, yeah, I mean, he take a lot of heat, man. So it's good to see him make big plays. Like I know, like our teammates know, we rely on him to do a lot. I mean, in our eyes, he's a special player. A very smart player, a player that can really do a lot of different things. And so it's good to see him kind of have some success, under the bright lights.
How was he able to kind of fight through what he was going through there and kind of come out the other side?
I mean, Dan's a team player. Like I said, it's all about team. And I think if you could really focus on team, you could kind of get through some of the rough patches, which we all go through as players. But like I say, he's the ultimate professional. Nothing has changed about him. He still does the same thing, each and every day as far as routine. So like I say, he's somebody to really count on.
Did Steve Spagnuolo or come up with you at the beginning, you guys like you and Hitch to make sure that you guys kind of kept together when things were bad, that kind of helped you lead to turning things around?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of good guys in our locker room. We got a lot of leaders. It's not just me, or Hitch. We got a lot of guys that really want to become, that, so, and they want that respect, from Spag. So, I could really just attribute it to everybody just staying together, staying committed, and then the ball have to bounce your way, every once in a while. And we've been kind of getting that. But it's good to get a win in the division.
I return for them to have a 20-play drive and not get anything out of it.
I mean, that's defense, though. It's all about kind of weathering the storm sometimes, dealing with sudden changes, just being able to handle, all those different things.
At the end of that 20, they had 2 fourth downs on the drive. What's it like in today's game? Know that you're going to have to deal with 4th downs. It used to be you get they're down, you think you're off the field, and that's just not the case.
I mean, teams still respect our offense, so they don't necessarily want to give those guys another chance to, to score a touchdown. So we know every time we get in these games, no matter really what the opponent is, we know it could be 4-down territory.
Can you take us through the Thornton interception, your view of the play, and how you saw the thing happen from your perspective on the field?
Oh yeah, I mean, we was in an all-out blitz, and Dan had the running back. I guess the running back blocked, and Dan does what any smart player would do. He just found some work, and the ball came to him, and the rest is history.
You tweeted out a photo, I think it was Super Bowl week of Dan. Do people just maybe not understand how much work he puts in?
I think people forget how hard this game is sometimes. Like, you're dealing with the best athletes in the whole world. You know what I mean? And but like I said, man, to see him just kind of weather all that, stay committed to his team, he never changed. I think that says a lot about him.
A couple more guys.
You guys have had a lot of success the past couple years, even as a defense. And you always talk about the doubt. You got you guys. Do you guys use that doubt as a motivation?
Every now and then, you know what I mean? Like you kind of use things as bulletin board, really material. But for the most part, this is all about the guys in the room trying to believe in each other, and just trying. I still don't think we played our best game yet. So hopefully that game is, the Super Bowl. I don't know, but we're just trying to keep going, man. We're trying to continue to push, and obviously, this is a big stretch for us. We're dealing with all AFC teams to kind of close the season out. So it'll be important for us to kind of win all these games and put ourselves in a position where, our fans can really, show that impact, in the postseason.
Last one, Tyron, this is your third year with the Chiefs. In each of those years, you guys have gone on a 5-game winning streak. The Chiefs gotten better throughout the course of the season. What is it about Spags and his assistants that allow you guys to sort of get better as
I mean, well, I think for one, we realize, nobody's really coming to save us, and we got to figure it out. And then I think, another part is just committing to team. It's all about team. It's team first, team second, and team last. And, like I said, if you could keep that in perspective and find something to get better at, at the end of the day, you'll be able to help your team, when it really matters the most.
All right, thank you. All right, everybody. Patrick, a little bit frustrated there in the second half. You feeling some frustration with the offense at this point? I know you guys like to win, but you want to score.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we feel like we're not playing our best football. We have spurts where we're really good, and then we have spurts where we kind of have these. We're not scoring. We're not finding ways to finish drives. So definitely, as a competitor, you want to be better. But I think you win football games, you win football games at the end of the day. And so for us, if we keep winning football games, defense keeps playing the way that they're playing. When the offense, we really become who we know we can be. We'll be a hard football team to beat.
Coming off of a bye week, though, how surprising is it to you that, I'm sure like a lot of people did do some self-reflection, self-study, and evaluation of the team, but how surprising is it to you that you get this kind of performance coming off of a bye?
Yeah, I mean, we just didn't. I mean, I say it every week. We just didn't execute at certain positions. There was throws I didn't make. There was plays that didn't get made, and then there was penalties at some inopportune times. So I mean, it was. We had stuff there. We had plays that were open. We thought we did a good job of getting stuff going, and then we just didn't finish drives.
Patrick, can I ask you about two things? One, speaking of things we talk about every week, the drops. I mean, is there any? It's more data points, right? But any commonality that you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, for me, all I can do is have better ball placement. I mean, on some of those, I mean, they're like the one to Tyreek a little high and hard. So I mean, just trying to find ways to make it easier on them. These guys make plays. I mean, I'm gonna keep throwing the football to them. They're gonna go out there and make plays happen. And if it happens, it happens. We'll move on to the next play.
The second thing, uprights were shaky. how much did that affect what you were doing? You trying to throw it harder to kind of break through that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was trying to throw it harder, but it definitely makes the football move a little bit. So, I mean, I mean, there was the one throw maybe to Tyreek where I had a little pressure on my face if I could somehow get it out there. That could have been the one deep down the middle at the second quarter, I believe. So, I mean, just stuff like that. But, I mean, you can't – I mean, we're in Kansas City. I was in Lubbock before that, so I'm used to some wind. So, just kind of going out there and just try to execute the best you can.
Patrick, I asked you earlier this week about Patrick Surtain. I know you got to this evening. Did you all make a conscious decision back in the first half to not really throw to the side he was on, or was it just how the plays were?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have anything like that. I mean, we just called plays. We had some open receivers. They played the shell over the top, so there wasn't a lot of man-to-man situations. And we had drives going. We just didn't execute it long enough to score enough touchdowns that we wanted to.
You also seen a little shocker thing towards the end of the game where they called you, I think, for a false start or something, and then you and EB were talking along the sideline with the cameras. What was that kind of
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know why I got called for the false start. So I'll try to figure out that and try not to do that again. I thought it was pretty common of what I usually do on hard counts, but he called it, so you got to try to not do it again. And then just, I mean, we kind of got put in a situation where we were trying to get in field goal range, get another field goal, and we didn't get there. So I mean, it was just not executing the way we wanted to. We drove it a little bit, and then kind of like the rest of the game, we didn't find a way to put points on the board. Yeah, for sure. I think I'm doing a great job of just getting better and better feel for the offensive line. I mean, those guys are blocking their tail off. They're doing a great job there. I thought they did a great job today. I mean, I'm just going to continue to get better and better, but still not lose the scrambling ability that you saw a little bit in the second half. So it's kind of the give and take. You want to stay in the pocket, make the throws, but whenever there's chances to make some big plays happen, try to go out and do that as well. Yeah, no, I haven't had a rush touchdown, I think, since the week 1. So it's been a while. So it worked out where they were kind of in like a zone that matched like man in the middle there, and we had crossing routes going. And yeah, I believe it was D-Rob had a good block on the guy out there in the end zone, and I was able to get it across the pylon.
There's been times this season where guys will come to you and encourage you. I'm just wondering, with your receivers maybe struggling the way they are right now, what the message can be from you to them, and how much do you try to voice versus them sort of figuring it out on their own?
Yeah, I mean, we know. I think they know from me and from all of us, and it's the same towards me as well. Is that they just have to be themselves. There's nothing they have to do extra. They have the talent. They have the playmaking ability. Just continue to go out there and be themselves. And I think kind of like I said, I think we'll continue to get better and better. We're still winning football games. We don't want to get lost in that. We're winning a lot of football games, and we're winning by pretty big margins. But we expect greatness from each other. And so we want to continue to get better as an offense, and the defense continue to get better and hopefully create a great football team.
Probably a Nate's question. This is last 6 seasons. This is the first time you guys have won a game where both Travis and Tyreek go for fewer than 50 yards each. How important is it that you can have guys like Clyde and Darryl that have big games like this when their games will move the rest of the guys aren't?
Yeah, I mean, you figure when you get to hopefully the playoffs and kind of try to run at this thing, guys are going to try to take away those two guys, and we'll do our best job of still trying to get them open, scheming them open different ways. But other guys are going to step up, and this week it was the running backs out of the backfield. Next week it might be other receivers, it might be different tight ends. And I think we have the guys to do it. We just got to continue to go out there and do it.
Last two, Pat, you spoke about how it's kind of lost that you're winning, even though some things are not going your way. It's kind of unique because the last 2 years you're kind of blowing everybody out. There's so much offensively, but this year it's kind of lagging offensively. I guess how do you try to navigate this, moving forward and trying to pick back up where you can?
Yeah, I think I've learned kind of as my career has gone on that you can't get caught up in like the hype and like the show of playing. I've been in a lot of football games where we scored a lot of points and lost, and I promise you, when you win football games like this, it feels a lot better. And so I think I don't know if that's just kind of with experience, but I kind of preached that to these guys when they were kind of running the ball and trying to really grind the clock through. I said, don't let that affect how we play. Let's continue to just execute and go out there and put points on the board because our defense is playing the way that they're playing. And so you have to learn how to manage games. You have to learn how to win football games whenever it's not pretty. I think we've done a great job of that this season.
Last one,
Dan Sorensen obviously plays on the other side of the ball, but did you have any advice or encouragement for him earlier in the year when things weren't going well? He was taking a lot of criticism.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I mean, he definitely took some, but I mean, it was. I mean, he makes plays happen. I mean, if you looked at his entire career, whenever there's a big moment in the football game, it seems like he's around the ball making something happen. And I actually told the QB room, I was like, man, it seems like every division game he gets a pick six, and so I would like to say I called it. So whenever he comes up here, make sure you tell him that.
All right, thank you.
How you gonna sleep tonight, man?
Hopefully good. I don't sleep well after the games.
Yeah, take us through the play, your big six.
I saw one of our linebackers blitz in the back pick him up, and so I was able to free up, and Ben Neiman got a hand on the ball and tipped it and fell right in my lap.
Got all the way down the field, though. You know, celebration at the end. I mean, was there some emotion coming out there?
Yeah, definitely.
Patrick Mahomes is just in here, and he said that he told the quarterback that every time there's a division game, you always seem to have a pick six. When you have a game like tonight, and given how the season has started for you and where you are now, how gratifying is this performance for you?
You know, I'm more focused on how we played as a defense, how we played as a team. I think that's more satisfying than anything. Juan was able to get another turnover. We had a big turnover on special teams, Byron forcing that fumble and recovering it. We had a big 4th and 2 stop in the red zone after the long drive. I mean, those things are important. You know, if you get a pick six and lose, that it doesn't feel good. It's good when you can play team complementary football, and I think we did that tonight. All 3 phases, working together and coming up with a big win.
With your success tonight, as the season progressed, were there things that you sort of changed or wanted to change in terms of seeing the film study, or did you try to stay consistent given your success in previous years?
I show up every day to work, try and do my job, do my part, and continue to grind away. Sometimes, things go your way. Sometimes they don't. That's the psychology of sports, right? You have highs and lows, and you gotta be able to stay consistent through both, right? You don't let the highs affect you, and you don't let the lows affect you. You continue to put in the work that's got you to where you're at. And, I think that goes for anybody. If I was to be giving advice to my son, or if you're giving advice to your son or your kids, right, you'd probably tell them the same thing. There's going to be highs and lows in sports, and you got to fight through both of them. And I think that's where we're at as a team. We've had highs and lows as a team throughout the season, and you got to stay consistent through both. I think we're trending in the right direction, but again, you can't let that affect how you approach this next week, right? And so I think that's coaches do a great job of keeping us level-headed and focused on what we need to do to continue to progress, to continue to see the success that we've been having. And anyways, yeah.
I asked Tyron this a little bit ago, but with this coaching staff and with Steve, you guys have gotten better each year as the season progresses. Just in your opinion, why has that happened each time, and what is it about the relationship between the players and the coaches that allow this improvement to happen?
Yeah, the coaches do an unbelievable job of understanding the personnel that we have on defense and then making adjustments. And we have a lot of guys that are able to play multiple roles. We have a lot of depth, as you can see. The D-line subbing in and out, linebackers subbing in and out. A lot of different guys contributing on defense, and that allows people to play fresh, play fast, and when they get in there, and take some plays off some of the other guys. I think there's a lot of guys that are playing really, really well, and the coaching staff have the ability of putting guys in the right place so they can succeed. And I think it's just about fine tuning, right, and kind of finding the right chemistry that works, and the coaches, they're the best at doing that. And again, yeah, we've been here before, in years past where we've had to kind of fight back and And I think we play well when when we're our backs against the wall, you know, and when other people doubt us. So.
Then you mentioned not getting too high, getting too low. Obviously, there was a moment this season where you lost your starting job, but was it as easy as you're making it sound not to get low on that, or were there some difficult moments for you?
Yeah, sure. There are difficult moments, but again, I think it's more mental than anything, right? You have the physical abilities, but it's the mind that if you can control that and then allow your body to kind of go through the routines and go through the movements and practice day in and day out, continue to keep your body healthy, continue to practice hard, and have the confidence that the work that you put in is going to eventually pay off.
There was a lot of criticism from fans and media of your play earlier in the year. How much of that noise did you hear, and how did you react to that? How do you fight through that?
Yeah, I'll be frank. I'll tell you this: absolutely zero. I didn't read a single article. I won't read an article from tonight either. I don't care what people say, good or bad. I don't get on social media. I don't read articles. I don't care, frankly. The only people that I care about are the people that are in that locker room, coaches and players. And you know, we're a family. We stick together, and we have each other's backs. So good or bad, I could care less. I'm more focused on the next task.
And obviously the take 6 on the return, but what I liked I saw was the 2-point conversion that you stopped. Can you take us through that? Discuss it.
It's something that we routinely practice. It's a kind of a common play down there, kind of a rub pick route, and it's communication between me and the corner, making sure we knew who had who, and making sure that you know, we played it well. DeAndre Baker was able to be tight, firm pressed on his wide receiver that allowed me to get over the top, and so that was big in helping me be able to be in that spot. Yeah.
Last couple yards before you crossed the pylon, was it like a James Harden, like Euro step thing?
Don't really know. It just came out, you know. It just happened.
We good? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dave.